Hello all, and welcome back to the Blind Horse Project podcast. For those of you just joining, the Blind Horse Project aims to bring awareness and education about our equine friends after they lose their eyesight. In many rescues across the USA, if a horse is brought in that is blind, they are immediately put down without thought of rehabilitation or being put back to work. Similarly, most equine boarding facilities, which is how the majority of people house their horses, do not accept blind horses for board. And oftentimes, when an owner's beloved horse goes blind, the first thing that they hear from the professionals and the people around them is often the recommendation to put their horse down. The Blind Horse Project aims to bring the happy, actual reality to light in the public eye, that our horses can far more easily adjust and thrive than we give them credit for. We argue that our horses do not need to be euthanized after they lose their eyesight, and that once adjusted, our blind horses can come back to work as family horses, as competition horses, and even as therapy horses. We argue this by bringing the little-known but large community of blind horse owners into the limelight and give them a platform to share their journeys with the world. This is the Blind Horse Project. And today we are joined by Kristi Barbado from Virginia as she talks about her daughter McKenzie and their half-blind horse, Bandit.
Hi, my name is Kristi Barbado, and I own a blind horse. It started for us back in 2018. My daughter was 6 years old at the time, and she wanted to do horseback riding lessons. And I think we did one or two lessons at that point, and she just immediately fell in love. We were going all the time, several times a week. So after a few months of doing that, I joined her in the lessons so I could also learn about horses and how to ride and everything. We didn't grow up with horses, so it was just important for me to learn if we were going to continue down that road. So then we started to lease a horse, a fully seen horse, and at that point, I don't even think I really knew that horses could fully function being blind or half blind. So we leased for about 6 months or so. And then my cousin's wife reached out to me and said that her childhood horse had just came available again. He was with her for several years when she was younger. And then he went to a boys' home here in Virginia and was like a therapy horse for them. Once they closed, he went to a family that had a few children, but they didn't really do too much with him. And she wanted to know if I was interested. And I was like, of course I'm interested. Like, how much and everything. And she said that I would be adopting him. So I went to my daughter's trainer, talked to her about the situation and got her advice and everything. And she said the best thing for me to do is to see if they could bring him over so we can try him out, and how he would fit with my daughter. So we did that, and it was a very windy day in January. So cold, so windy here in Virginia, and she brought him out to me, and my trainer, she rode him, I rode him, my daughter rode him. Everything was checking out great. I did not do a vet check like most people do, and I am thankful for that now, but I'll bookmark that and come back. So we tried him out. I looked at him, and he was a little scruffy looking, but overall he looked okay. He had a little hay belly going on, but, nothing too bad. And so I asked him if he wanted to come there and live with us, and he just melted in my arms and was so sweet. So we said yes to him. And my daughter was a little sad because she really loved the mare that we were leasing, but since they were all going to be at the same barn, we would still be able to see her. So she eventually came around to the idea of having him there and having her own horse. So that was really sweet. It was maybe 2 weeks later the vet came out, and she examined his eye, which we had thought was a little foggy. It's his right eye. It just looked different than the left eye. The left eye is very like clear and brown, and you can see just pretty much, you can almost see straight through it. It's so clear. But the right side was very foggy, and we got him checked out, and she said, yeah, he's about 80% blind in that eye, and it's just, going to get more. He can see shadows and everything, and honestly, I would have never known, because he was fine. Like, we could approach him in the field. He was not spooky. He was always willing to be caught. My daughter rode around on him with the saddle, bareback, in the pen, in the field, through trails, like no problem at all. So then I was just really concerned at that point. I felt terrible. Like, I felt so bad, not only for him, but also for us, because it kind of made me think, like, oh my gosh, what did I get myself into being a new horse owner? My horse is half blind. My daughter, she wants to do shows. Is she going to be able to show him? Like, how is he going to get on the trailer? How's he going to do transporting? Which I know he arrived in a trailer, but with someone not having a ton of horse experience, the whole thing just made me nervous, made me rethink everything. But I also felt bad for him. Like, how did this happen to him? What was his life like? It just broke my heart. I'm a huge animal lover. I definitely passed that down to my daughter, and I was just really sad for him. So I Googled a bunch. I asked our vet a bunch of questions, and then even afterwards, I would just think of more things, and I would ask Jody, my horse trainer. She's been amazing this whole time. Even just through the whole transition of lessons to leasing, to owning. At least leasing a horse, I felt like I wasn't fully responsible. Like, I still had help. Where owning, like, you're fully responsible. Everything is yours. So I felt terrible for him, and then it just, like, made me second guess everything. Like, should I have done this? Am I the right person for him? How's he going to be with a 6-year-old child? Everything just kind of came flooding in all at once, and I just really needed some time to process everything. But as time went on and my daughter did more and more with him, I realized that he's fine, and he has completely adjusted to his life already. So there were no issues there. He lets her, she can go down and get him in the field and ride him back up. Like, he is so good to her. Not spooky at all. He does horse shows. He trailers fine. And back in 2021, they won their first buckle together. They were grand champions of the walk trot division that she was entered in for the New London Horse Show here in Virginia. And then, they've won so many trophies and ribbons together. They do costume classes, cow work, like ranch classes, Western. She takes them on trail rides. She even does, like, the barrels with him, pole bending, those fun games. She loves to do those. In 2023, she actually won another belt buckle for the Jim Kahana classes. And she was just over the moon about that and loves it, wears it all the time. So he's been a really, really great horse. And going back to my bookmark, I am so glad that I did not do the vet visit first, because had I feel like maybe I would have changed my mind about getting him, and we wouldn't have this amazing horse that she was able to really grow up with, because she's almost 12 now. So I was just so thankful that I didn't do that, because I feel like I may have. I don't know for sure, but I just feel like, as bad as I felt after I found out that he was partially blind, I just feel like maybe I would have said no, and that would have, really made us both miss out, us and him, because he is just so spoiled. He loves having a little girl. He just comes right up to her. He knows she always has cookies in her pocket. He gets massages, and he's just really loved on. He's almost 20 years old. So we have him on a few supplements for his joints, but other than that, he's amazing and great. And we just have to, watch out for his eyes. He gets vet checked for his vision and everything, and we keep a UV protective mask on his face as much as we can. Sometimes we do like to take it off and let him breathe, just because it does kind of rub down his hair a little bit. So we don't keep it on all the time, but most of the time we do, especially during fly season. His fly mask is on, and it's UV protected. So we do clear eyes in his eyes, just to make sure that on the super windy days that he still gets that moisture in there. And his left eye's been totally fine. No vision issues over there at all. So our vet's just been keeping an eye on it. Everyone at our barn knows that he is vision impaired in his right eye, but honestly, sometimes I forget, because he's just so great. And he rides the rails so perfectly, you just really wouldn't be able to know. He just really trusts her and loves her, and I'm so thankful for their relationship. He's been so good. Sometimes if she's in a mood or really attitudey with her preteen self, I just go over there and I just tell him just to fix her and fix her mood for me. And after they ride, she's like a completely different person. And I'll tell her, well, make sure you pick his feet and make sure you brush him. And she's like, Mom, I know how to take care of him. I do it all the time. So she gets out there to ride about 3 or 4 times a week. So he's really used to getting caught and all of that. You really wouldn't even know, and it just breaks my heart that there's so many horses out there going through the same thing, and people wouldn't give them a chance, just like I might not have. And I'm just so thankful that I did. So thanks for listening.
Thank you, Kristi, for sharing your inspiring journey with Bandit on the Blind Horse Project podcast. And thanks to our listeners for tuning in. For more information on the Blind Horse Project, feel free to take a look at our other socials under the Blind Horse Project. This includes TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. And if you would like to submit your journey for the podcast or a video highlight, or if you are interested in joining the Ambassador Program, email us at theblindhorseproject@aol.com. Thanks, everyone.